Hey Reefers, my name is Devin, and today I'm going to show you guys my 100-gallon reef tank. Now if you guys don't know me, I also run a saltwater YouTube channel called Reef Dudes, where it's all about making reefing easy. Now let's get to the tank. So I'm a huge fan of shallow reef tanks. So on this tank it's 6'1" long, 18 inches tall, and 20 inches front to back. The tank itself is lit by 4 EcoTech Radeon XR15 Pros. I've went through many different lights and I ended up landing on these for my previous tank, which was a 30-gallon Innovative Marine tank. When I upgraded the tank, it just made sense to get 2 more and, you know, nice easy way to expand on the tank. Now for flow on the tank, I'm using a mixture of 2 different style of pumps. I have 2 MP40s as well as a CP40 gyri style pump. And because it's such a long tank, I didn't want any other pumps on the end of the peninsula or along the back wall. So eventually this tank is going to be in a peninsula mode, so I really wanted to find a way to make sure I get that proper flow without having any other equipment visible. So I found the mix of the 2 pumps a pretty good solution to get water pushed that whole 5.5–6 feet of the tank. You find that right amount of flow that keeps all the corals and everything happy. Now as for corals, I'm obviously a huge fan of having a mixed reef tank. I love the flow and motion of softies and LPS, but I also love the intricate structures that SPS bring. So I can never just stick to one type, so I've always been a hardcore fan of having a proper mixed reef. Now on the fish side of things, there's a pretty good spread of different fish in the tank. Right here we have a coral beauty, we have a hippo tang, a powder blue tang, we have a yellow tang, a couple clownfish, azure damsel, we got a watchman goby in there, and a blue-jawed triggerfish, and a couple of little small fish kind of hiding around the tank. As for inverts, I have 2 different fire shrimp, and some various like Halloween hermits and different crabs in the tank. And of course snails. For actual filtration on the system, I run a bean animal style overflow, and that drains into my sump and then passes through a filter sock. And below the sock, we got a bunch of different types of marine pure media, and that flows into the skimmer chamber. For the skimmer, I'm using a Coral Box Cloud 9, which recently had addition of a net cleaner to it. In that same section, I have a pump that feeds my reactor manifold. Now the reactor manifold goes with 2 different things. I do have a small somatic reactor for carbon and another one for GFO. I run that on just a very low trickle just for like a little bit of an added boost to the tank. The reactor manifold also feeds my DIY Chater reactor, which has done a great job of reducing nutrients in my tank. Next section over, this used to be my refugium, but I turned it into a frag section. I do have a matching XR15 down below with the tank. Now I did it this way, it's a little overkill for my small frag area, but it means that my lights can be matched exactly, I can move stuff up and down, and nothing's really shocked or affected by any changes. And I think that's a big thing to keeping those frags and corals happy. So after the frag chamber, it flows into the return chamber, in which I have a Vectra M1 pump and a Neptune ATK in there, and then it flows back up to the tank. As for dosing, I'm currently using 2-part. I previously used a calcium reactor. I may go back to one in the future when I do a tank upgrade. But for now, I use the Neptune dose, which is dosing 2-part, you know, pretty much every 15–20 minutes and keeps the tank super stable. Now, if you look at the end panel of the tank, this is kind of where I have my control panel for everything. The skimmer controller, next would be my auto top off, followed by the apex. Below that, we got the CP40 and the 3 EcoTech controllers. The first 2 are for my MP40s, and the one on the right is for the Vectra. So this kind of end cap was kind of the perfect spot to hide all that equipment. So I did mention earlier that I am going to do a bit of an upgrade. So in the next month or 2, I'm doing a slightly bigger tank. The length will be about the same, but I'm going about 5 inches wider and 4 inches taller. So sneaking in about 60 more gallons of water volume. So it should be a good little increase. It will give some more space for the corals to grow, and for some of my fish will gain a little more swimming space. So if you guys enjoyed this and you want to learn more, be sure to go to youtube.com/reefdudes, and a huge thanks to Richard from reefs.com for inviting me on to let me share my tank. Alright guys, have an awesome day.